but Mana, you know the voice actor for Yuma got replaced in Duel Links because the original one from the anime, his name is Eli James. He's kind of moved on to political activism. So I don't know if it was his schedule or he just didn't want to come back to voice acting, but they changed his voice actor. Excuse me. Yeah, so the new one is a new voice actor. Like, he's never done... Wait, did I just finish this event? Oh. I'm like all the stupid events. Okay, so like with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's very interesting because, you know, we started a franchise off with Yu-Gi-Oh DM, right, our Duel Monsters, and everyone was high school aged, and then GX I think kept that trend going. Like, everyone in GX is around high school age, maybe a little younger. Some of them are teachers or whatnot, but overall they tried to keep the same age range. And then in 5Ds they went up. Like, in 5Ds everyone is like 17 to 19 years older. They're over 18 by the end of the series. And then what happened, and you know, like, if you look at the themes of each series, so you had Duel Monsters kind of balancing high school, which for like 2 episodes, and then they go into whole card games. GX was literally school for card games. And then 5Ds went super dark, like, you know, what do you call it? Dystopian future kind of thing and all that stuff. You know, Darksiders who are literally zombies. and then you had people grow up like with Yu-Gi-Oh through GX to 5D. So like, personally, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh around middle school. So I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I aged up kind of almost similar in age. So like, I was in college when 5Ds aired, so you know, many people were like the character's age. And then ZEXAL came, and then suddenly you had everyone in middle school. So that was, you went from a really dark series with basically, you know, about 17 to 19-year-old characters to suddenly a downshift even younger than the original Duel Monsters. Everyone's like 12 years old. So I think that, and the theme, like the beginning was very like Yuma is a very happy character. Like, he's so like energetic and optimistic. He's like the complete opposite of Yusei. So I think that like sudden shift like really turned a lot of people off. But there's no way that they could have just kept getting darker or like age up the like, no little kid's gonna watch a Yu-Gi-Oh show with like 24-year-olds. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to watch adults play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's very boring. And then like, adults are kind of assholes too, let's face it. Oh my god. Well, he was Pac-Man champion, man. Pac-Man champion, gotta take pictures. We're talking about the Jaden voice actor, but yeah, no, that's so I think, you know, a lot of people that grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh and you suddenly had the complete 180 that was ZEXAL turned off a lot of people, and they ended up not liking ZEXAL. And for me, I'm very open-minded, so I gave ZEXAL a chance. I really like Yuma. Yuma is a very fun character. Am I sad that 5Ds ended? Yes, but it was no way it's going to run forever. Same with the original series. Like, there's no way any of these series are going to run forever, as much as we want or whatever, right? And then after ZEXAL was, give me a second, I gotta think. ARC-V, right? So you had the characters a little older, but they kept riding the hype train, because I think ZEXAL was pretty successful. Like, it brought in a lot of new players. It was very cheerful, happy. Everyone really liked it, even through the Barian and all that crazy stuff. And then you went to ARC-V, which also continued that trend. Yuya is a very optimistic, happy character, but then as you watch it, you learn he's hiding a lot of trauma. Like, his dad left him, and then he's been kind of hiding his sadness and grief by putting on a smile, like you know, like the pendulum, like swinging one way and the other, and just always a happy face, even through, like, you know, kind of the struggles he's been through and stuff. So that's what I really liked about Yuya. And I think ARC-V was very solid, even the pendulums were a little confusing to me. And then I think they announced the Dark Side of Dimensions project, and around that time, ARC-V was in the Synchro arc, so that's why the Synchro season was so long, because I think they took too much staff from the ARC-V team and devoted all that to Dark Side of Dimensions, but then ARC-V's production suffered as a result, which led to very long synchro season, and then the rest of ARC-V being like, like I don't even understand what happened with the rest of ARC-V, like, but here's the thing, like, you know, if I think about it, if you step back and look at it, almost every single series of Yu-Gi-Oh, towards the end, they have like a Protag goes dark kind of arc. So like for Yu-Gi-Oh DM, it was Yami Yugi with the Orichalcos thing. With GX, it was Evil Emperor Jaden. Yusei somehow dodged that, but the series was so dark overall though. You had like your zombie friends coming back for revenge. You had apocalyptic future, like, you know, those guys coming back to try to save their future, but like murdering everyone in the process. And then ZEXAL, you had Dark Mist, you had Dark ZEXAL, and then ARC-V, like, I feel like they did this as well. They went and did Zark, which I'm not going to go too much into Zark's, because it's spoiler, but yeah, he had a really crazy character design and even a crazier voice. Like, I was just, okay, but I don't blame them. But here, now you think about what's been happening over the years. Well, it's funny because we have a Dark Yusei, but he's in the manga. Like, they were having a writing duel against, oh god, I forgot what the character was. And then Yusei was like, I want power, I need power. Like, he became corrupted by power, so you looked and saw a really dark version of Yusei, but I think he snapped out of it. So we had that in the manga, but not in the anime. Because the anime was super dark, like, overall. Wait, am I? Okay, come on. I mean, yeah, for ZEXAL, it was a complete 180. You had this happy-go-lucky, cheerful character, and then suddenly, like, the weight of the world and the whole situation came down upon him, and then he got corrupted. And then that led to, I feel like that led to Dark ZEXAL, like, him opening his heart to darkness. Which is weird, because in the beginning, there was that door of darkness, or door of destiny, that was like, you can get this power or something, but you must give up something very precious to you, which I didn't really understand overall. I mean, I kind of got it, but not really. But anyways, then you go in through ARC-V, and then you had like production issues, all this stuff kind of leading to a very tumultuous like final seasons of ARC-V. You can see it in the ratings, it just dropped dramatically, because I mean, everyone knew like you're overworking your animation staff, you split them up, and then this is the end result. So then going into VRAINS, I don't know how much of this is true, but I know that the production issues from ARC-V carried over into VRAINS. Like, VRAINS was supposed to have a completely different beginning scenario, and then it ended up not happening, so they had to kind of take what they could and work with it. And so that's why I feel like I recently watched and finished VRAINS, and I could feel that first season was just a chaotic. Did I just die? Yeah, good job, Rex. You lost. I could feel that first season was just a chaotic mess. And okay, so here's the problem with VRAINS. They had a lot of production issues throughout the whole first season, and then I think partway in the second, which is why you have recap episodes like every less than like 10 episodes apart, and some of them almost back to back. Because they had those production issues and writing issues, they were just trying to pick up the scraps and trying to work with what they got. And then so it was very, I feel like it was kind of a mess in the beginning. And then the second and like last season, that's when they tried to like get their shit together, and then they were able to kind of finish VRAINS strong. Like the final season of VRAINS I really liked. The first season I did not like, because it was so confusing. It was such a mess. Like, I remember I was trying to watch it like weekly, but those freaking recap episodes killed me every time. And then I think there was a time when there was 2 recaps in a row, and I was like, okay, no, I gotta step back. I'm gonna do some other stuff while they figure out how they want to show this show. And it didn't help that like every new generation, they introduce a new summoning method, which I get. You gotta refresh the game, keep it fresh, you know, kind of, you know, stuff like that. So I kept playing Yu-Gi-Oh up until about Pendulum Era, and then I got a little confused with the Pendulum cards, and then I got really busy and I couldn't like keep playing. And then, oh jeez, after Pendulum was Link, So Link summons is where I got really lost, but I wasn't actively playing at the time. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of watching and enjoying the duels. Oh, hey, that's great. Here, I can save this for next stream, I guess, if you want to put that. Oh, on Little House on the Prairie. It's okay. I mean, the shows will be there. There's no rush to finish them or whatnot. Yeah, as a note, Final Fantasy 14's at about 50%. He's doing it about little. Well, I guess because he's more famous for his live action roles than he is about GX. I kind of doubt it because I think those people that interviewed him were more interested about his live action roles. But anyway, so I finished VRAINS, and yeah, it had a really rocky start, but it finished strong end. And here's the thing: I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Yusaku is a high school student, so they again went from, like, they tried to age up. So ZEXAL ARC-V, like middle school through early high school again, and then VRAINS with Yusaku. And VRAINS started off very dark, because if you remember, he was kidnapped as a child, forced to duel, and then had severe PTSD after that, and was only saved by a certain character. So when you see him counting, like, there's 3 reasons, or 1, 2, 3, why X things are, it's him trying to deal with that PTSD and get through his trauma. So that's why I feel like Yusaku is a very, what do you call it, stoic, or like kind of sad character, but he's not energetic or as happy-go-lucky as Yuma or Yugioh was. So in that sense, Yusaku is kind of like the sudden shift from Judai to Yusei again. You go from like more optimistic character to someone who's dealt with a lot of trauma and stuff. Yeah, so they're just kind of repeating. And then you have Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, which did the exact same thing that 5Ds to ZEXAL did, which is a complete reversal again. You have a happy-go-lucky, optimistic, even younger character. If I'm not mistaken, he's elementary school, right? Here, let me see. What's this? His name is Yuga. So let's see. He is an enthusiastic 5th grader. He is the youngest protagonist so far in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I haven't been able to watch 7s yet because it's not online legally. Which I'm like, come on guys, it's been over a year, at least put the subs up. But from the previews and what I could see, he's very optimistic, happy-go-lucky, just like a little fluff ball of joy, I guess. And yeah, so he is a complete 180 from Yusaku, much like Yuma was to Yusei. And now they've done away with trying to keep adding mechanics to the main Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, so they've gone and made something called Rush Duels, which is a completely different format than the regular card game. It's very similar to, if I'm not mistaken, very similar to how Duel Links, the dual terminal speed duels work, where you only have the three zones and whatnot. Wait, did I? But okay, let's face it. We get young protagonists because over time, your fan base and the people watching the show age up, and in the end, this is a card game anime. This is a card game, like an anime made to sell card games to children or like young people. As we age up, we gotta go to college, we gotta study for exams, we got jobs. We don't have time to play these little card games really, or if you do, you do it very seriously. But every X generation or so, they have to try to get new people into the show or into their product, and keep in mind you're competing with these other franchises now, like Card Fight Vanguard, Buddy Fight, Digimon now, Pokemon is a big one, right? So in order to keep the show going and keep their card game going, they have to draw in new people. So you can't keep aging up your protagonists. You have to step back and get young protagonists at some point, because if you're an 8-year-old kid, or 8 to 12, you're not going to watch a show about like a 20-year-old playing card games. You want to watch something with like someone similar to your age. You know what I mean? Rush Duel looks super fun. I don't know if they'll ever bring it over, just because 7s is stuck in like, what do you call it? Localization hell. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, but there's only 3. Professional is only like 3 zones, right? Yeah, whoever's after 7s is going to be most likely someone in that. Because, okay, so remember 7s is an elementary school kid. He's 5th grade. So logically, the next protagonist would be maybe middle school aged. I doubt they would jump into high school, and they would never do a college-aged protagonist. The 40-year-old characters are usually like the teachers, the professors, or the villains. You know, because like it's a shonen, it's a show for kids. It's a shonen show for kids. You're not gonna want to watch a 40-year-old. Oh, that's like weird. You're watching your mom and dad like playing card games. You're like, it's like I don't want to do that. That'd be funny. A spin-off based on Grandpa. Oh yeah, I'm playing the NPCs. I forgot. But that's what I'm saying. It's a cycle. So you could say like you could yes, Yu-Gi was high school because in Shonen Jump manga you typically want high school aged characters. GX kept that. 5Ds aged it up, and then they had to reset. They had to try to get new people into the game, so they went back to middle school and then high school, or middle and then high school again, and then reset again even younger now because they want to compete with like Buddy Fight, or I don't know what else is popular in Japan, but yeah. But actually, if you guys are following the Japanese TCG account, they've been posting these like weird tutorial videos that feature like adult businessmen drawings. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. But then there's also like they just did something called Duel Royale, which is these adult like men playing. Like, it was so weird looking at it. It looked like they were playing poker, but it was Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, they were all wearing suits and like fancy briefcases, and they had like table girls. You know what? Let me pull it up because it was super weird. It was so weird. Let's see. Oh, Battle Royale. No. Man, where is it? It's this. Let's see. Okay, so they did a whole series. This is the merchandise itself. But you can see from the look of it, it's meant for an older audience. Like, it looks like it would be a Vegas table or something, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're playing off that nostalgia where they want to capture, like, people that grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! But are now adults, and they want something a little more high-end or fancy looking, just to kind of capture that nostalgia again. And then if you watch the videos, like, it's pretty weird. Let me see if I can pull those up, actually. And then you'll see what I mean, because, yeah, it's pretty wild. Here, I think I'll put it on my bottom screen so you guys can see it. But it'll be a little thumbnail in the corner. Let's see. Watch my subs. It was a little early in the day that the account shared it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So yeah, here's the two. Oh, if you guys want, so there's a talk show and then there's a duel. So that's between Yuma and Yusei's Japanese voice actors. So if you want to watch that, that's what those are. Appeared. Let's see. And then they had a really weird thing. Let me see. Here's the duel royales, but let me see if I can find like. It's weird. Yeah, see, like they're wearing suits and it's like all fancy. These aren't the actors. I have no idea who these people are. I don't know. Have a good morning. Oh dear lord, you didn't stay up all night, but it is weird. I don't know what this is. Yeah, oops. Dear lord, alright, yeah, have a good night. But yeah, see, this series is so weird, and I have no idea what's going on. No, but this is the first time I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Treat Yu-Gi-Oh! Like fancy poker. I don't know who this is. Like, I don't think any of these are voice actors. They're really random people. But yeah, they treat it like as poker, and then there were like even table girls. The English one or Japanese? Because the Japanese one tries to do stage plays. Yeah, it's really weird. I'd like to see him live. I wonder if he like do autographs after a show. He does other voice roles too, I thought. That's what it is, and it's sets like $100, and I'm like, but these are just magicians. Oh, I didn't know it auto switched back. That's nice. Wait, can I like? I can make startup. Oops. Ah, dang it! Ah, I'm dumb. Oh my god, I did that wrong. I did that wrong. Oh my god. I feel dumb. He was in a movie, wasn't he? The elevator one with M. Night Shyamalan, Devil or something. Or no, he was in Prom Night as an extra. It was funny. He was an elevator in Prom Night. Is I messed up. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I think it was really cool of them to say like, oh, you know, I mean, you were going to be the voice of Yugi and Yamayugi, but we understand you saw an opportunity and you went to do something else. And then he was like, well, can I come back? He's like, yeah, no problem. Here, we'll give you Tristan, right? Because the other Tristan guy left to do something too, right? Sam Riegel, I believe. And then he got the role of not only Tristan, but, you know, Yusei later on, so that was really super cool. Yeah. There's a... Matt, there's a video of, oh yeah, for sure. Oops. Oh, man. Messed this up. I messed this up. I wanted to summon 2 stars. I think that's a very amazing achievement in its own, like, especially in Japan, if you're the protagonist of a Yu-Gi-Oh series, I feel like you've made it. Oh wait, I can... Oh my god. Full circle. Dude, how dope would that be to be a... Or what was it, there was an interview, I don't know, Mana, if you were here, there was an interview with Merrick's voice actor, and he was talking about how, when he started, he's told, like, oh, you got the voice of Merrick, and he's like, heck yeah, and then, like, he realized, like, oh, Merrick's, like, here for the whole season, I'm gonna make so much money, and then, like, and then after the filler arc between, what is it, Battle City, and the filler arcs after Battle City happened. So like before that, he was spending all his money because he's like, heck yeah, man! I get to like be this character. I get to have all this voice work and stuff. And then he was told like, hey, yeah, you don't have to come in for a little while because your character's not in the show right now. And then he was like, oh. Oops, because he was spending like crazy, like, you know, fancy dinners, all this other stuff, and then doing the Merrick voice takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot out of him. Yeah, but I thought that was funny. Merrick's voice is really hard on him. Yeah, I can only imagine, like... Pew. See, Final Fantasy is at 60%. Yeah, because he found like, oh, this is great, I'm gonna be here for the rest of the show, and then like there was a 2-season break, and he's like, oh, whoops. And I was like, yo, couldn't you have like looked up the anime and known that you weren't gonna keep voicing this? Like, for 2 seasons your character were in it. So for Yugi's voice actor, I don't know what is up with him, because there were quite a few video games that he did not want to voice Yugi for, so they got like a substitute voice actor for Yugi for those games, like many of the Tag Force series, for example. And even in Duel Links, you can notice, even though he plays Yugi and Yami for, Yugi and Yami for the Duel Monsters world, Dark Side of Dimensions, he didn't do it. They just reused the lines for Yugi from Duel Monsters. Like, he didn't come back to voice more for Dark Side of Dimensions Yugi, and I'm like, what? And then there was the whole thing where they couldn't release sub Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought it was online. They couldn't release it online because of streaming rights for his voice. Like, he has something in his contract or something that says, like, if you want to stream or show his voice, like his role in voices for certain things, like there's a weird thing, yeah, like that's why we couldn't get Yu-Gi-Oh! Sub for a while, unless you wanted to watch it like with all the lines of Yugi muted or something, you know, but that'd be like stupid and awkward. So we didn't have that for a very long time. Even Crunchyroll only recently was able to put up all of it subbed. Whereas I think before they were only doing per season. So I don't know what is with his contract. Like, to be honest, like, to me, and I'm sure for other fans, it seems like maybe he's kind of like salty about being cast as Yugi, maybe? They are, yeah. If you look at it, it's all recycled. I'm fairly certain it's recycled. I don't know if it's every line, but a good majority is just the Duel Monsters Yugi. I can't even show you. And then here's the other thing. Think about Duel Links for PC. You can't have Japanese voices. It's only English and I believe Korean and one other language. Only the mobile versions of Duel Links are you able to change the language to Japanese. Well, if I think about it from his perspective, I don't know what other roles he's gotten other than Yugi, but maybe it's like he's been typecast. Because you think about like many actors that play characters in Star Trek, if they especially get popular, or protagonists of Star Trek, they become typecast, which is now like any roles they try to get afterwards, they're just going to be known as like, oh, that one character from that one show. So maybe like, I don't know what happened. Maybe afterwards he was like, he was trying to find other work, and then they were like, oh, you're Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I don't know, but I feel like that could be it, because that does happen, especially to actors who are in like Star Trek or other things similar, where afterwards they just only cast for that type of role when they really want to do something else. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, unless you're a captain or something, like, you don't really get called back, like, for other stuff. But some actors have found success in other things, but like for example, like in Star Trek Voyager, like the guy that played Harry Kim, like I only know him as Harry Kim. I haven't really seen him in anything else after Star Trek. But the captain, you know, Kate Mulgrew, you know, she was also just the captain for a very long time, and then she got like kind of minor roles. I think like most prominently, I think it's Warehouse 451, and then another one is Orange is the New Black, which is I think her like I would consider to be her next major role after Star Trek. And here's interesting, actually, for all the Yu-Gi-Oh series, the protagonist's voice isn't really a big name. Like, they kind of become a big name due to Yu-Gi-Oh. Like Kenjiro Tsuda, I think, had like quite a few prominent roles before Yu-Gi-Oh. But then after Yu-Gi-Oh, he just became known as Kaiba and became very famous for it. And then he's gotten so much work just because he has that tenor, that kind of voice that just every anime should definitely cast a character. And the funny thing is, you know, in Japan, when they bring over Hollywood movies, they have to dub over it sometimes. So Kenjiro Tsuda was cast as Dorian Gray, I believe, from 50 Shades of Grey, who is also the CEO. So it was really funny to me because I'm like, but for ARC-V, they picked up Kensho Ono, who is, in Japan is actually a very famous voice actor to play Yuya. And he's, I think his other most notable roles would be Kuroko from Kuroko's Basketball, which is a immensely popular sports anime. And then he also dubs the voice of Harry Potter from the Harry Potter films. And if I'm not mistaken, he's done quite a few other major roles, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. So he was another big name. And then VRAINS, I don't think they really got anyone that I recognize too well, but yeah. I feel like in Japan, voice actors are treated like how we treat Hollywood stars here, cause they have to do it all: sing, dance, act, and they're kind of treated as that celebrity status, the bigger names you are and stuff, because you know anime is such a huge thing over there. Yeah, for sure. Didn't in the original Yu-Gi-Oh, you're thinking about Bakura's voice actress. She played Ash in Japanese Pokemon. So she's most famous for Ash Ketchum, but then now she's also famous for Bakura in Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so for Dan's first breakout role was Entei. Did it because Entei was no, Entei came out after Yu-Gi-Oh, didn't it? Or Pokemon 3? Let's see, Pokemon 3. Oh no, 2000. Or no, wait. Japan came out in 2000. In America, let's see. It was released in North America on April 6, 2001. So you're right. No, yeah, so predates Yu-Gi-Oh by about May, June, July, August, September. 5 months. I mean, I guess, but he's only like Entei for that one movie, you know. Like it's not a reoccurring role. It's not technically a protagonist. It's just a really badass Pokemon. But here's the thing. Consider it's like, you know, the very first Pokemon movie was like legendary, but it wasn't Dan Green as Mewtwo. It was another guy, and I don't remember who that was because after the first movie, I don't think he really had any other major roles, at least that I can remember. Yeah. So I feel like if you had a major role in the movie, that's great, but the problem is your character's only in that movie. Like, you don't really know them from anything else.